Hey, good morning or good afternoon, everybody, depending on where you're watching from. This is Dr. John Michael Salvato, and we are back with our Living the Six Dimensions of Wellness series. In today's world, as we face down a global pandemic and health threat, there's plenty of information out there that tells us what we need to do in terms of protecting ourselves from the coronavirus, from COVID-19. But there's not as much information about what we can do to protect ourselves emotionally and spiritually, mentally at this time. And we're going to talk about that on today's program. And welcome back, my friends. Excuse me, Dr. John Michael Salvato here again. You are watching Living the Six Dimensions of Wellness, and I've been gone for a while. Those of you who are participating in the group know that the reason that I've been gone has been because of my own infection with COVID-19 and with pneumocystis carinii pneumonia. But as you can see from the hair, I am back in full warrior mode. My voice is still a little bit weak, and there's still a little bit of a cough to contend with, but I can tell you that progress is being made every day. And I've missed you guys. And so that's why I felt it was important to come back today. Now, I'm not going to jump in with both feet. I am not going to overdo it. I promise all of you that. But I did feel like it was important to come back today just to kind of give everybody a reminder that of something that my guru, that my teacher, Majaya Sati Bhagavati, would often tell us. And that is that you have to drink as you pour. And what I mean by that is that self-care has to be the foundation upon which we care for others. And this is certainly a time in our society when caring for others becomes critically important. But if we don't provide ourselves with the foundation, with that self-care, then I'm afraid that our efforts are going to be less than effective. Things are going to get a lot worse, especially in the United States, over the next 10 days. I'm expecting that we're going to see some fairly widespread panic when people finally realize that this is not a hoax, that this is not hype, as some imbeciles out there are posting on their Facebook pages, that this is really a very serious health threat to our society as a whole. And yeah, I understand that there are people out there who think, well, this is just, quote unquote, just affecting the immunocompromised or just affecting people with underlying illnesses like heart disease. This is just affecting the elderly. But in my world, there are no throwaway people. And that's something else that my teacher really impressed upon us, is that if we don't care for the least of these, then we're going to have problems. And so we're starting to see some of the worst of humanity show its head over the weekend. I saw at the end of last week, somebody with whom I did business, somebody with whom I was once proud to do business, had the audacity to call people who were worried about their health, worried about their finances, and who were expressing those concerns squirrely, telling them they should just focus on selling his fucking overpriced products. Those kinds of behaviors are disgusting. And I'll have nothing to do with companies or people who make such disgusting and just self-serving comments at a time when people are facing legitimate stress. And we can go on social media and see every other form of that depraved uncivilized lack of compassion expressing itself, particularly from people who support the current Kremlin installed occupant of the Oval Office. But let's get really clear right now. This is a time when we should be doing the right thing. And doing the right thing, of course, means considering ways in which we can support those whose incomes might be completely interrupted during this time, that we could do for those whose health might make it difficult for them to get access to food, to get access to groceries. And so we do our part. And I believe in the resiliency of the human heart, and that compassion will rise in the face of this pandemic, and people will go and be there for one another. But I'm concerned that we may not always be there for ourselves. And so we have to drink as we pour. You know, there's an ancient story that comes from the Christian mythos in which the Palestinian master, Rabbi Jesus, told his followers that if you go into a place and they're not of your accord, if they're not on the same page as you, if they're not vibing with you, then you need to shake every speck of dust from your sandals. Now, why did he say that? Why did he just not say, fuck those people and move on? Well, I have a very clear idea of why he didn't just say, move on. He said, get rid of every speck of dust from your sandals. And here's why. It's about self-care. You see, if they left the place that wasn't of their accord and there was a speck of sand underneath their sandals, that sand could become a blister as they walked on in the desert. That blister could then become infected. It could cause them to become ill. It could even cause them to lose their leg or their life. And so it is with the people that are not of our accord. Over the weekend, a lot of people thought that it was extreme that I eliminated over 2,000 people from my Facebook who were out there purporting ridiculous conspiracy theories and calling this a hoax and supporting the asshole in the Oval Office. But I had to make that cut because those who are not of my accord are that grain of sand in my sandal that could become an infection. And right now I'm fighting for my life. I'm very fortunate. For those who haven't seen a health update from me in a while, this was my second infection with COVID-19. I was infected, started to get over it, and then reinfected. But the official quarantine for COVID is ostensibly over. I won't know for sure until Wednesday, but I believe that we're at the point where I've turned that corner. However, I have pneumocystis carinii pneumonia, which is a life-threatening HIV-related form of pneumonia, and that's a 28-day recovery time, and I've still got about 2.5 weeks to go on that. So right now, I can't afford the stress. I can't afford the abrasion of that grain of sand in my sandals, and neither can you. You know, there are people right now who are counting on us to be there for them, to be compassionate and to be present to them. And so today I just wanted to spend 5 or 10 minutes encouraging you to take some time to yourself. Ignore what the morons are saying who tell you that you're being squirrely if you're concerned, if you're fearful for your health or the health of your loved ones or your older family members, if you're concerned about finances, because those are legitimate concerns. And sometimes white privilege has a tendency to forget that there are other people out there outside of their own families. And so we move beyond that. Take time to allow yourself to feel the feelings, but never forget that we're not in this alone. We may feel isolated. You know, I'm somebody who's who really enjoys my time at home. And I thought that quarantine was going to be a piece of cake. And I can tell you, it's making me nuts to not be able to go outside, to not be able to walk along the riverfront, to not be able to see people. So you might feel a little isolated, but you're never alone. If nothing else, we've got the ability to connect. And once I get a little bit stronger, I'll do a Zoom meeting one night where we can just get together in a room and hang out. No agenda, no class, just being able to be present to one another. But in the meantime, take this opportunity to do the things that are nurturing to you. Be a little selfish. Indulge yourself a little. Take that bubble bath. Just read that book you've always wanted to read. Sleep in a little. I have a feeling we're going to be moving toward a space and time when this pandemic kind of explodes in North America, when we may have to be confined to our homes at a much greater scale than we are right now. Don't let that be the cause for fear and terror. Allow that to be an opportunity for self-care. Drink as you pour. I think that's all I can really pretty much share with you guys today, and the reasons why it's so important that when somebody is not of accord, when somebody is out there attacking or bringing you down or making you stressed at this time more than ever, just shake the dust from your sandals and move on. It's an opportunity for each of us to heal ourselves, and as we heal ourselves, an incredible thing is happening in our world. I saw video footage this morning in Venezia where the canals, which were once greenish brown and nasty looking, have begun to run clear because of the lack of people polluting them. So we're giving our earth a chance to heal as well during this time. It's going to be difficult. We're going to experience some loss. But let's remember to be there and to be especially supportive of those first responders, those medical professionals who are putting their lives at risk every single day. The police officers and firefighters and other first responders who are out there doing what they can to keep us safe. Let's be a little more compassionate and think about those service workers whose incomes are completely disrupted right now. We're going to be doing something for my community, for the spiritual community, who is also being affected as conferences and workshops and events have been canceled. There are a group of 5 incredible practitioners who are going to bring their workshops to the public, at an amazing price. Less than you would pay for just one of these people. And we're going to bring that together online so that members of our community, of the spiritual community, have an opportunity to hear from some incredible people sharing some of the teachings that they would be bringing to some of the bigger conventions later this year when they reschedule those events at a price that folks can't beat, and they'll be able to access that. To access that teaching here online from the comfort of their homes. So there's lots of things that are happening. I'm going to be sharing a lot of material on self-care and on ways that we can take care of one another. Thanks to everybody who's commenting in. I'm seeing a lot of folks have not logged in, so I can't really tell who's saying hello and who's not. For the most part, I see Steve and I see Mike. It's great to see you guys. Meanwhile, you can find some resources at mentalwellnessmovement.org, and I'll continue to post some stuff on Facebook with articles that surround themselves with the topic of self-care. Thanks to everybody who has been supportive and sending their thoughts and prayers and everything to me. I apologize that I have to keep this really short. I'm starting to get a little short of breath, but every single day gets better. The mohawk is something many of you who've known me for years know that was kind of my signature look for most of the last 15 years. And I felt like in the midst of this battle, that I would not only do the mohawk, but bring in the color of the mother, that folks would understand that we really are in the protective mantle of the divine feminine right now. This is an opportunity for us to heal ourselves and to heal one another, and it all begins with self-care. So guys, stay in the moment, be grateful for everything you've got, and always remember that the best is yet to come. Love and appreciate each of you. Namaste.